Hello, Clarabelle. Hello. Huh? Yeah. Mr. Anthony, hello. Can you hear me, Mr. Anthony? Hello, Mr. Anthony. Oh my. Hello, Mr. Anthony. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can hear you
Can you hear me?
very well, loud and clear.
Very well. Okay, brilliant. Okay.
Loud and clear. Let me just
Okay.
change the layout.
You are definitely prepared for the winter.
Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I'm prepared for the winter. Very, very well.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. This is Cedar Pro. Again, Cedar Professionals. We train groups, individuals, organizations on the practical insights that they require in order to be successful, employable, and more importantly, achieve their career and financial objectives. And we pride ourselves to say the same things as to the fact that we're not theorists, we are practitioners. And our goal is very simple: to enable you to have that practical insights that you require in order to be successful. So yeah, that's the goal. And today we have a very fantastic topic, which is how to secure a business analyst and data analyst role. How do you do that? Um, so yeah, we want to quickly go into that. It's quite cold. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
see us coughing and you know,
yeah,
just bear with us because UK has a lot of snow going on and it's quite chilly. So
yeah.
okay. So
Mr.
yeah,
Anthony, you
I
can
can
speak
proceed,
on.
right?
You can proceed. I'm going to bring the banner, but I need to
Hmm.
get the lights right because it's a little bit dark on my side.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so I'll put the banner in while you're doing the talking. You can speak on.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, guys. So, like I said, the topic is very simple. It's a very simple one. As well. Mm, apologies. So what we are really talking about is how to secure business analyst or data analyst role, and the goal is that we want to help you know precisely how about this whole thing. We're not going to take too much time because I think when it comes to how, I think one thing that you have to realize is we are dealing with the process involved in securing a business analyst and data analyst role. And today I want to emphasize a little bit more about evidence, giving evidence, and how that is significant in helping you achieve that goal, right? How that is significant in helping you achieve that goal. What exactly is evidence? You see, I was talking to a student who said to me, "Is it hard to be a scrum master?" And I said, "No and yes." Is it hard to be a business analyst? I said, "No and yes." Is it hard to be a data analyst? I said, "No and yes." And I said, the reason is because no, because you can easily get multiple roles that are being advertised all over the place. And you can get an interview quite, if you put yourself in a position that is whatever, you can get an interview immediately. But the point is, you are competing against a lot of people. You're competing against a lot of people. And your ability to demonstrate, here's the word, demonstrate practically with evidence that you have been a business analyst is very, very important. That you have been a data analyst using all the various key core terms, the software terms, the terms that actually kind of gets the recruiter to say, this person knows what they're talking about. Now, the assumption is that you've been through a Cedar Design or Cedar Pro training program, right? And you've gone through the whole CV review and job search and interview preparation element. And so your CV is top notch. We always tell our students, look, you've got to make sure that your CV is world class. It has all the educational backgrounds needed. It has all the various certifications. It also has all the various trainings. He also has all the, accurate dates of projects and work that, companies that you work for with a significant amount of years and all that stuff. So you can show that career progression as a project manager, as a business analyst, as a data analyst in that sense. Once that is there, then you need to emphasize a lot on evidence. You need to give evidence in your interviews. And we've talked about the STAR principle, but I think it's important for us to remind you. I was training some students the other day, and basically the concept was you need to have at least 3 to 5 case studies that are ready for you to, anytime they ask you, tell me about a time when XYZ, tell me about an XYZ. You can give the STAR principle as a situation, the task, the activity, and the result. That is what is going to set you apart. Because I remember my second contract here, when I went back to, this is a company I was working for already, and they wanted to interview me. I thought, what the heck are you doing? Like, I was there when not long ago, a few months ago. But the guy was talking and he said to me, oh, we had so many applications, but we had a PhD person coming in. They couldn't explain to us one concept. And I thought, interesting. Because as far as they are concerned, they need somebody that has practically done the job. That's the thing. Your ability to demonstrate that you've practically done the job and you can easily explain that in an interview setting will pave the way for you. Very, very important. So evidence. So I'll give you a typical example. As a business analyst, tell me a time when you were working with a product owner and there was some type of conflict between you two, and how did you handle it successfully? You've got to be able to explain the situation. So we were working on this mobile application that we were delivering for clients. All in all, with all the sprints, 2-week sprints overall, with all the various aspects, we're looking around a 3 to 6 month period. One of the things that I did was to ensure that I have clarity from the product owner as to what needed to be done. And, I knew that I had to work on the user stories. I knew that I had to work on acceptance criteria. And I also knew that I had to work on a lot of the research elements and wireframes and maps as well. So I started putting these together. But I noticed that the product owner kept constantly changing things as time moved on. Every other day, he or she had certain things that needed to be changed. And it's quite understandable because the client, quite honestly, wanted certain things at different times. But what happened to my work was there was no logical sequence to it. So as I kept doing, say I put together a process map, I'll go back and say, no, scrap it and start again. But then I have other things that I had to also work on to make sure that the team can start on time and complete certain things. So I sat down with the product owner and said, what exactly is the basis for all these changes, like 4 or 5 different changes? And the understanding was the client was coming up with all these changes and it was still at the early stages where they were trying to make sense of what they are doing. So when we sat down, we knew that we had to go back to the client and say, look, maybe we need some time to actually brainstorm before we actually start putting things into, delivery mode. Let's go back to the initiation and planning stage and just try and make sense of it first before we go into the whole delivery mode and start our sprints and sort of put everything in gear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the product owner did that. We were able to come to a point where we knew clearly what needed to be done, what needed to be put together. The roadmap was built, the strategy was developed, and I knew what I needed to do at specific intervals. Even though there were changes here and there, it was minimal because there was clearly defined objectives, clearly defined roadmap, and key requirements at each stage. So we knew the milestones that I had to work on all the time. That's it. Now, I've given you a STAR principle. I've given you a task. I've given you a situation. I've given you something that is very practical. You have to be able to convince the recruiter that you know this stuff. And if you can't do that, the recruiter is just going to look at you and say, all the interviews that I've sat in and whatever, the number one thing that I have managed to do is convince them that I know the job practically. I know the job practically. Not that so your contract, they called you, by the time they just 1-2 conversations, that was it. They knew you knew the job practically.
You need to show that you know the job practically.
Yes.
And sometimes, we just finished teaching a class now. the Scrum Master class. And one of the things we told the people is try and understand the terminology of the
Yes.
industry. Try and understand it. When you go for an interview, you're going to be using the terminology,
Yeah.
not just saying things that you feel you should say.
Yeah.
You need to let the interviewers know that you know the job practically.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
went for an interview. They said with a PhD holder came in, master's holder came in, but you were the one that was able to tell them what the job entails.
Exactly.
That's what they need.
Exactly.
You need to
Beyond,
understand the job.
yeah.
You know?
It's and that's exactly what they want to know. Do you
Yeah,
understand what needs to be done with the behind all
yeah.
these jargon that they are using? Do you have clarity on what needs to be done? And you can
That's
only
it.
show that through practical examples.
Mm-hmm.
So evidence, 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 evidence. Before you go for the
That's it.
interview, sit down and write several case studies that are crucial to actually being the sort of the case studies you're going to run around in circles anytime they ask
Yeah,
you about something. This is what you're going to say. This is what you're going to work on. This is what, you know, um, these are the case studies you're going to be using the entire time. All right. So fundamentally, evidence is the biggest thing on how to secure roles as a data analyst and as a business analyst. So you go ahead.
no, sorry, please. The
Okay.
broadcast almost ended. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Now, the second thing on how to secure a business analyst and data analyst role is this. You have to understand that when it comes to these two specific roles, fundamentally, you're dealing with data. Okay. Business analyst, they gather requirement or data, and then they understand the current status of the business, current problems and challenges, and then they provide solutions, types of solutions, and help make decisions. All right. So they are solution providers. Data analysts, they get insights from data. They analyze data, they translate the data, they modulate it, they whatever it is to try and get insights that will help again with decision making. So they are not the same. But regardless of whatever it is, you're dealing with requirements and data. So if you're going into this particular role, one of the fundamental things you have to understand is this, is that you have to be somebody who's very clear on what requirements and data is all about. What is requirements? What are requirements? What are the different types of requirements? Do you know what a business requirement is? Do you know what a user requirement is? You know what a system requirement, functional, non-functional requirements? You've got to have clarity on that as a business analyst. When it comes to data analysts, you need to know what data is. Data, how to collect data, how to explain data, how to modulate data, how to data, precisely data. You need to have that clarity on data. Because one thing as a data analyst you must realize is that they're going to ask you, especially the different softwares. I mean, if you have practical examples, you'll be mentioning these key terminologies. But if you need to know the different softwares, Tableau, you need to know SQL, you need to know all the various softwares that are critical. You need to know your Jiras, you need to know your Figmas, you need to know all the various things as a business analyst. You need to know your process mapping. These are all critical IT skills that are essential to actually modulate and gather requirements and some sort of make use of data. So data has not just to be something that you just talk about in one simple sentences here and there, but it has to be something that you're constantly revolving around as a data analyst and also using the keyword requirement as a business analyst. I gathered the requirement, I transformed the requirement, I finalized the requirement, etc., etc. Data analyst, I collected data or I was given access to data and I used this particular software to actually organize the data. I drew this insight and I communicated it this way and that way. Very, very important because data is core requirements. Data for business analysts is core requirements. Data for data analysis is data. Exactly what the word is. Analysis. Now,
Yeah.
that moves me to the next point.
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Oji, go ahead.
before you go on, if you're watching us and you're not subscribed to this channel,
Yes.
please subscribe now. The reason is because, okay, now when you subscribe, hit the notification button so that when we are on, you'll be notified. Don't just subscribe without hitting the notification button. If not, you subscribe, your subscription comes in, but hit the notification button. And we are live. So there's a live bots chat there that you can leave your details so that we can get in contact with you. You can leave us a comment. You know, now when you leave a live chat, when the broadcast is over, we can't see the chat, it disappears. But if you send us a comment or leave a comment, we'll read it. If it contains your private details, we'll private it, but get in contact with us. And don't forget to quote YouTube 50% for you to get
Yeah.
the 50% discount. Okay?
Exactly.
So hit the notification button, subscribe right now.
Fantastic,
Please go
fantastic.
on.
And I'll use the opportunity to say our business analyst, project manager, product owner, business classes are all resuming on the first week of January, from the
Yeah.
first week after the 7th, actually. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, these are all dates you can get on our Instagram page. If you go into our Instagram page, or you can get in contact with us. We are releasing the dates. We've released the date, sorry. And so we're going to start those classes. Get registering because there's a lot of beautiful things that we have coming your way, guys. And we're very excited about the things that we're going to be able to do for you.
Yeah,
all.
and also, Mr. Anthony, don't forget 50% discount for those that register between now and the end of December.
Exactly.
So quickly take advantage of it.
All right. Yeah. So the next thing is analysis. One of the things we're talking about interview. If you look at the word business analyst, if you look at the word data analyst, they all have to do with analysis of some kind. So you have to understand that the recruiter that is sitting on the other end is trying to ask themselves, is this person an analytical person? That is very, very important. First, evidence. Second, understanding what data is all about or requirement. And third, and final point is being able to demonstrate analytical abilities. Very important. Interviewers that are looking for business analysis, they're asking themselves, does this person think? Do they think about what they are doing? Do they think about what they are saying? And it's just in very simple things, very, very simple things, like how you explain the concepts, how you put together the simple things that you are saying. They all review whether you're analytical or you're just tired and lazy. So recruiters are going to be asking themselves this all the time. Is this person a business analyst or a data analyst? Do they have analytical capabilities? Are they honed in those areas? Can they sit down if they're told any scenario? For example, one of the questions that is typically asked in our classes is, if you were in an airplane and the airplane is about to crash and there's 3 parachutes, but there's 4 of you, yourself, your husband, your kids, and your mother, who are you going to save? The answer you give is not really the important things. It's the fact that you think through what you're saying. That's the point. Are you going to give it to your child? Why? Are you going to give it to your mom? Why? Are you going to give it to yourself? Why? People will give different answers. But the point is, if you're a data analyst, you've got to be somebody that thinks about these things. You have to be analytical. So you'll have scenario-based questions like this that is not supposed to just get you or catch you up and make you feel like you're not important, you don't know the answers and stuff, but it's just to test whether you're analytical or not. And that's very, very important. So when it comes to business analysis and data analysis, guys, you have to understand that they are testing to see that this person is competent enough to gather requirements, to gather data, and analyze it and present it. Final point, communication abilities. If you're going to be a successful data analyst or a successful business analyst, you need to be able to present. You need to be able to show them that you have the capacity to present. So today is all about what you need to have as skill sets, okay? And this is what will typically be the assessment that is going on in the mind of the recruiter. They will always be checking, can this person present? I went for an interview for project management. No, it's a business analyst job. And I remember it wasn't even an interview. They gave me work. They gave me an assignment. I had to do all my various whatever it is and then go there and present it. And they asked me a lot of questions. And that's exactly what that might happen to you as a business analyst. They might give you some scenario-based questions. You actually have to assess it, put together a presentation, and go there and present. because presentation is critical. They need to know you can present. They need to know you can take criticism. They need to know how you deal with pressure. They need to know how you handle change control. They need to know all these various things that is going to be part of your job. Data analyst, the same. You've gathered all these insights and you now have extrapolated that XYZ is the reason why we have the Ukrainian war with Russia. Great. Can you break it down into simple terms for us so that we can be able to understand it? Because you're going to talk to different levels, different layers. You're going to be talking to board of directors. You're also going to be talking to middle management leaders. You're going to be talking to management. You're going to be talking to senior supervisors, and just general staff. Do you know how to communicate to stakeholders? Because part of the whole process is that you need to know stakeholder engagement, and that starts with communication. Mr. Oji, any final words as we get to the end of the 30 minutes?
I think, like, when it comes to interview, my advice I would give people is this: study your CV, study the job description, then make sure that you study about the company. Your questions will revolve around there. Your CV, they're going to ask you questions from your CV about what you said you can do and everything that's written on your CV. The second one is the job description, to find out if you can do the job and you fit into the role. The third one is the company, to find out if you would like to work there or they can work with you. Any other question apart from that, it's going to be difficult for them to just ask you questions from nowhere. They're going to ask you questions from your CV because you've told them that you've got this qualification, you can do it. They're going to ask you questions from the job description to know if you can do the job, and they're going to ask you questions about the company. Now, when they ask you questions from your CV, they will ask you questions concerning yourself, where you job expectation. When they ask you questions from the job description, it's going to be about the job. Then the company, they want to know if you can really work with them, and that's it. Yeah, that's my final word.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for this short session. Again, our PMBA classes are open for registration. We've started our registration already. Our Scrum Master classes have opened. Our product owner classes have opened. Our business classes have opened. We are taking students on for the new year. So if you're interested, get in contact, and let us help you. All the best, guys. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and now don't forget, please, to subscribe and hit the notification button so that whenever we are online, you can always get the notification. We'll be seeing you tomorrow at Clubhouse. Take care.
Thank you very much. All the best. Bye.